Real women murders, not fiction. Love women, don't kill them. Giving real women, unknown women, recognition to the world. Please support our channel and please subscribe.
Where we're learning some new details about the victim in an overnight case of murder-suicide.
Fort Lauderdale police and SWAT teams on the scene late last night where they say that a man shot a woman, barricaded himself, and then set his home on fire before turning the gun on himself.
We want to go to Chopper 6 now. This is a bird's eye view, and you can see the damage that was done to that house, gutted by those flames.
NBC6's Shernay Amara, she has been on the scene all morning long. Shernay, the victim worked for the city of Fort Lauderdale for the fire department, fire rescue. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, so the fire department, of course, identifying that victim as Gwendolyn Bass-Kemp, a mother, a grandmother, of course, as you mentioned, an employee with that department. And the city manager calling this unthinkable and, just sending their prayers out, of course, to her family. And, even for this neighborhood, it really is an unimaginable loss. I've learned this is a tight-knit community with neighbors who grew up with one another. And that's why for them, it's so hard for them to look at this home here and see it all burns out, all the memories and the people they knew gone.
This is really crazy.
She didn't want to show her face, but you can still feel her pain, staring out at an unbelievable image. And for those who live here, hearing the police report is even harder.
That was so bad, Richard. Oh, God,
Calling out to her neighbor, Richard, who police say shot a woman neighbors say was his girlfriend. It happened inside this home before police say he set it on fire and barricaded himself inside.
A very, very unique situation here this evening, and with the threat that was taking place, our firefighters were not able to make entry.
Our cameras rolling as the fire raged, burning trees and gutting the home as SWAT continued working to end it.
The house begins to get engulfed in flames. At a certain point during the situation, the suspect exits the residence. He is still armed. He then takes the gun and shoots himself, and he is deceased. Inside of the residence, there's an adult female who was also pronounced deceased.
Fort Lauderdale police identified the woman killed as Gwendolyn Bass-Kemp, a billing specialist with Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue. Deadly actions, hard to comprehend for those living in this tight-knit community who knew the pair as a couple for more than a decade.
rest in peace, that's all I can say. Baby, rest in peace.
Yeah, just such a devastating story here. Now, I spoke directly with Fort Lauderdale's fire chief, who says Gwen, as friends called her, was an employee of the department for nearly 2 decades. She was actually recently talking to him about retiring from the department. So it's just really a devastating story. Now, police have also identified that suspect as 71-year-old Richard McDonald. And as you see here behind me, there was just fire investigators here on scene. So, of course, the investigation continues this afternoon. For now, reporting live in Fort Lauderdale, Shernay Amara, NBC6 News.
A woman was murdered. Police say the killer then set a home on fire before shooting and killing himself. Local 10's Alex Finney is live with what she's learned. Alex. And Nicole, we have learned that the victim's son is the one that called 911. We're actually going to be listening to those 911 calls in just a moment. It was quite a frantic situation. Sadly, this is just one piece of a larger picture. Of course, we are now dealing with this tragedy as the family is coming to terms with what happened. We're hearing the 911 calls for the first time.
He pulled the gun out on me. Like, he is a military vet. I know he has a license to carry or whatever, but shut up, dude. The only reason I'm leaving is because he pulled the gun on me.
That is the victim's son calling police after arriving to his mother's home. Many details leading up to the tragic end of what authorities are calling a murder-suicide. The woman found dead inside the home has been identified as Gwendolyn Bass-Kemp, a beloved City of Fort Lauderdale employee. The city releasing this statement saying in part, Gwen's loss is tragic and unthinkable. She was a valued employee for nearly 20 years, and our colleagues are mourning her loss deeply. Fort Lauderdale police got a call Thursday night about a shooting at this home off Northwest 27th Terrace in the Lake Air community. We are told by authorities that 71-year-old Richard Kenneth McDonald grabbed a gun, barricaded himself in the home, and ultimately set the house on fire before turning the gun on himself.
He exited the home and he shot himself in the front area of the home. The adult female was inside of the home.
Bass-Kemp was found dead inside the house. An internal memo sent to employees read, Gwen worked as a billing specialist for Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue. She joined the city in 2005 and was a valued member of the team for 18 years. She will be greatly missed.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Please subscribe.